Today I'm making one of my absolute favorites. I remember this as childhood. Used to be able to buy them in little bitty squares. They were really rich, they were really good, and they're called an Italian rainbow cookie. Now you can make it into a regular cake if you want to, but we're going to do ours as cookies. They're 3 layers, and we have oiled 3 9 by 13 cookie sheets, and then we put a lining of your parchment paper and we've sprayed it again. We've got 3 of these. Going to set that aside, and in my mixer I'm going to add 1 cup sugar, 1 stick of unsalted butter, and we've let this set out where that it has gotten to be room temperature. That makes it nice and soft. And then I'm also going to add 8 ounces of almond paste. Now we ordered this online and it came in rolls, and when you know it, each roll had 7 ounces, so we bought 2. And I'm just going to kind of break that up and put it in. Breaking it up will just help it to mix up a little faster, I believe. And then I'm going to put down my paddle and we're going to beat that until it's nice and smooth. As you can see, I'm going to bring this up so you can see this. It all looks like the almond butter did. It's very compact and thick. And I'm now going to add 2 more sticks of the unsalted butter. I told you it was rich. And this is real butter. Do not use oleo or pretend butter, because what happens is it separates. And the oil separates whenever you mix this. So you want to be sure that you're using pure butter. And we're going to mix those in now. I have 3 egg yolks. I've or 4 egg yolks. And I'm going to add those. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of almond extract. And this is pure almond extract. It is not an imitation flavor. It is pure almond. 2 teaspoons. And we want that to beat until it's very nice and creamy. I'm going to scrape that down. This looks like it'd be good enough to eat just like it is. Okay, we've got that pretty well down in there. I'm going to now add 1/4 cup of whole milk. Turn that back on. And I've got this sort of on a medium speed, because now I'm going to add 2 cups of plain all-purpose flour. And I'm just going to add that slowly, because if I put it all in, it's going to just mix and throw it out. We want it to mix in gradually. As you can see, it has mixed up and it's nice and smooth. And I'm just going to lift that up. It looks just like whipped butter. It is so smooth. And I'm going to take this off of my beater and set it aside. Okay, we have taken the flour mixture off of our beater, and I have now added the whipping device, and I'm putting the 4 egg whites into a bowl, and we are going to beat that until they become stiff. Okay, let's check and see if it's ready. What we're going to do is reach down in there, bring it up. That's very stiff. See, it's not running, it's not dropping off. It's in there good. Now it takes a little longer since you're not adding sugar or anything to that. So it took probably a good 3.5 minutes to whip this. I'm going to take about 1/3 of it and add to my flour mixture. And then I'm going to stir that in. You want to kind of stir it in slowly. Don't get in a big hurry. We're trying to lighten the cake up a little bit because the flour part is very dense. Let's get that mixed in there. Now we're going to add another 1/3. And now the rest of it. And we're going to mix until this is smooth and has no streaks of the egg white. Now you need to go around the edge of your bowl often, clearing all of that off, getting that whipped in with it. That helps. Dig way down deep in your bowl. All right, I believe we're ready. And now I'm going to put it into my 3 prepared pans. As soon as I add my coloring. Now we're going to have 3 colors on this. 1/3 of this is going to remain the color that it is right now. It's sort of a creamy yellow color. 1/3 of it will be red, which will turn out kind of a dark pink color, and the other is going to be green. We want that to be about as even as we can get it. Normally I would stick that in my mouth, but maybe I better not.
Wait a minute, you just did.
Well, you can't let a good piece go to waste by just wiping it off on a towel. I'm going to start with the red first. And you need about 1/2 teaspoon of this. This is a liquid gel. And then on each one of these, I will just mix that until it's nice and smooth. Okay. And 1/2 teaspoon into my second bowl. And don't make the mistake I did one time. I thought I could get the pink cleaned off well enough to use it over. You better not. Go with the new spatula. Mix that in. Okay, and we've got that mixed up. Just look and make sure you don't have any big deep parts that you didn't get mixed up. That's all ready. We've got our plain, and now we're going to put each one of these into our prepared cookie sheet. Okay, we'll start with pink. I'm going to empty all of it right into the middle of the bowl and then spread out. All the way to the corner. Okay, we want to even that out the best that we can. And I will tell you, the corners are hard to get. Just do the best you can, because you can always cut off the ends that doesn't look like that it's doing right. You want to be sure your cookie sheet's completely covered. Put it out, make it as smooth as possible. And just when you think you've got it all done, you've got 2 more to do. Okay, we finally got these in here. And I think I know why they quit making these, because it takes a long time to get those straightened out. You want to make sure that your pan is evenly covered. You don't have to worry about the corners too awfully much, I don't think. With these now, we're going to put all 3 of them in the oven. The oven is set at 325, and we're going to leave them in there about 6 minutes. And then we're going to turn the pans around and let them cook then another 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take these out. And we're going to let them cool completely before we do anything with them. You want it to where that it kind of springs back when you touch it. You'll be dry, and you can press and it springs right back. Okay, these have cooled about an hour and a half, and they're room temperature. You can feel underneath it's cool. Your cake feels cool. Now what we're going to do is take some raspberry jam or jelly. This is nothing right here but pure seedless red raspberry jam that I got. And I'm going to use half of this on the green one. And this is a 9 ounces, 9.5 ounces. So we're using roughly just a little bit over 4 ounces on each, and we're just going to spread that out. You're going to spread it thin, because what it's going to act like is more of a glue and to add more flavor. You're talking about raspberry and almond here. What are you going to get any better than raspberry and almond? But it's just going to glue that down. Spread that out where there's some on all of it, all the corners. Like I said, this is more of a glue to hold the second top in place, but it's adding flavor at the same time. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to take the white one next. And I'm just going to lay that over the top. Oh, I'm going to break it. Sometimes that happens. Do not fear, just put it into place. Trouble is, you've got the glue down, remember? That's what makes it hard to move. Okay, you can look and you think, boy, that looks a mess. You've really tore that middle one up. Boy, did I. But I'm going to put the rest of the jam on top of that. And hopefully the pink one comes out just a little bit better to cover up such a mess. And then whenever we cut it, it will not make any difference. It will all be just fine. Okay, now I've finished with all of the jam. And hopefully my pink one comes along a lot better. Now, one reason that may have broke up a little bit is the fact that maybe that was a little thinner and didn't have quite the amount needed. You try to get them as even as you can, but you know, sometimes it's just not going to happen. That one come in just a little bit better. Move that over a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now then, we're going to take, and I'm just going to use the last of the paper that I had, and I'm going to put that on top. Put another cookie sheet on top of that. That's a clean, dry one, by the way. And then we're going to set 2 plates on top to try to, I think I'm going to use bowls. Get those blue and white striped bowls. You're wanting this to mash down. So you just put your bowls on there. Try to hold that down. And we're going to put it into the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. But with ours, it's getting later in the evening, and we're just going to put it in for overnight. Here we are, day 2. I'm going to remove the weight. Carefully remove the top. And to that, I'm going to take 3/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I'm going to put that in the microwave and melt those. Okay, we have finished melting our chocolate, and as you can see, it's nice and thin. You want to make sure that you melt it to where that it is thin. You do not want to melt it to where it's just kind of thick, because you're going to have to spread that. And when you spread it, it's much easier if it's thin. Just going to spread it. And hopefully, you're going to need every bit of this, I can tell you. So be sure you really clean out your whatever you melted in. It's just going to be a thin layer, but you still need it. Need every ounce that's in there. I guess you could melt a little more chocolate chips and make it a thicker, but you really don't want real thick chocolate on it. Or you might. It's up to you. You're going to be cutting these edges off that are they're a little, I don't know, rough, I guess you could call it. And they're really good. You can cut those edges off and use them over ice cream if you want to, but In our case, we're probably just going to eat them. And as you can see, the 3/4 cup covers it well. Okay, and now we're going to put this back into the refrigerator and leave it for 30 minutes. Okay, it has set in the refrigerator about 30 minutes. It only needed 20 supposedly, but we used 30. What I'm going to do is now flip it. So I'm going to put my board on that, flip it over, take the cookie sheet off the top along with that, and then I have melted another 2/3 cup of the semi-sweet chocolate, and I'm going to pour that on the top, spread it out, and then it is going to go back into the refrigerator for another 20 to 30 minutes. Then we will cut it, and we're going to eat it. Now on this one, you'll want to be sure you get it all the way to the edge. This is the pretty side. Be sure you get it all covered. Doesn't have to be real thick. Okay, I'm going to make this real smooth down through here. And this is where you can get creative. I'm going to take just a regular fork and just run it lightly through that chocolate. Try to kind of keep your lines straight as possible. You don't have to do this, but I'm making it pretty. Or I think I am. At least I'll make it confusing for the person trying to eat it. You can do whatever pattern you want to on the top, or you can not do any at all. And then I'm going to run it the other way. Now kind of pull it up right there. If you want, you can kind of spread that back down. After all, we want chocolate on all of it. I must have dug in too deep for doing that lightly. That's what happens when you get too heavy-handed. And then I'm just going to put this back in the refrigerator and let it sit for another 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, this is set in the refrigerator for about 35 minutes. We left it a little longer because we were doing other things. We're going to trim off the edge, and I'm going to trim it really close. And the only reason for this is the part that you get to eat right off. And then I'm just going to make a little mark down through there. Cut out a little square. Move that out so you can see it. Well, I didn't cut through real good. Didn't get through my chocolate. But you can see these are one you want to keep, but you have to have a day when you just don't have to hurry. You'll make them more than once.